Welcome to American Veterans Forum V-Spann. This is a very exciting day for us here at V-Spann. We have two guests that we are very privileged to have here with us. A lot of experience and a lot of ability to answer good questions. Today I have with us Mr. Wayne Macejak from the Chicago VA&R office of the American Legion, which is also the VA office. And we also have Mr. Raymond Toczek from the Chicago Office of Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation. Gentlemen, welcome to V-Spann.
Happy to be here.
There's a lot of things we're going to cover today, and there's one thing that we wanted to cover today right out of the get-go. As veterans come home from the War on Terror, it's a journey from the military to civilian life. And sometimes it's not so easy. And sometimes veterans have problems adjusting to civilian life, and things get rough. And one of the things that we wanted to make sure that we covered in this segment is the resources that are available for you. You need to know that a lot of people care about you, and a lot of people are there to help you. When you have problems, you need to let us know. There are several resources that are there for you. And Wayne, if you could tell us about a couple of the things, not only where the resources are, but what to look for in veterans when they have problems, maybe some to the point to where a veteran would consider taking his own life, which is obviously always tragic. So we want to take every precaution to try and make sure that doesn't happen. Can you tell us a little bit about what to look for when a guy is thinking about taking his own life?
Sure. We see this, well, not that often, but of course anytime we see it, it's a serious thing, and we try to get the veteran as much help as we can, as quickly as we can. It's good if people around the veteran's families, friends, can help recognize some of these issues that may be occurring with the veteran and maybe steer him in the right direction as well. Let me just read a few of the things that people need to look out for regarding some of our returning vets. Sometimes guys coming back, they experience emotional issues, PTSD, depression, anxiety. Some contemplate suicide. Unfortunately, it's more prevalent than we'd like to see. But some of the things that we need to look out for is if we have a veteran who exhibits some of these symptoms, such as talking about wanting to hurt or kill himself, trying to get pills, guns, or other ways to harm himself, talking or writing about death or dying or suicide or hopelessness. If he's having anger issues, uncontrolled rage, acting in a reckless or risky way, just acting like a different person compared to when he went into the service. Family and friends are the best to recognize this because they know how he was when he went in. Sometimes the veteran feels trapped, feels like there's no way out. Some feel like there's no reason for living. These are the veterans that we want to get to. We want to steer them in the right direction. There's all sorts of resources available. There is a hotline the VA has, and let me give the hotline number. It's 1-800-273-TALK. That's T-A-L-K, TALK. The number is 8255. So let me repeat that. It's 1-800-273-TALK, which is 273-8255. The sooner we can get a veteran some help, then the less chance there's going to be for him to do something drastic. So if people can keep on the lookout for some of these issues and either call the VA, have the veteran call the VA. Like I said, there's all sorts of resources out there to get him the help that he needs.
You know, some of the things that veterans do when they're thinking things like that. I know there was one instance that the producer of the show shared with me. This individual had went to several of his friends, and he was basically telling his friends goodbye. Of course, nobody knew that at the time. He went to like 8 of his different friends and spent about a half hour, 45 minutes with each of his friends, and was saying goodbye to them. But None of those friends that he was visiting knew that. They didn't know what to look for. And if you even have the slightest doubt that this veteran may need help, pick up the phone and make the call. And, you know, we need to take care of these guys because they're the ones that have taken care of us and continue to do so. So, you know, this is a very important issue, and it's one we needed to talk about. And 1-800-273-TALK. That is a very important number to remember. Write it down if you need to. And thank you for covering that, Wayne. We appreciate that.
Happy to do it. As I said, there's many resources. There's people that he can talk to at the VA, places he can go, vet centers that you can go see somebody. So sometimes the veteran needs a push from friends or family in order to get him to do it. So if the friends and family can recognize some of these issues, they can help him get the help that he needs.
All right, thank you very much. You know, there's a lot of things that you cover in your office, and you know, you guys are pretty busy taking care of veterans all the time, and I want you to know, as the American Legion, we certainly appreciate everything you guys do. I know you've helped a lot of veterans, and thank you so much for everything you do. I wanted to say that too, because you guys are very appreciated.
Thank you.
Now, some of the things that the veterans come to you with, you know, there's everything from the disability. You know, even one individual that comes to mind that's stuck in my mind was a gentleman that he thought been awarded a medal. Now he says, you know, I thought I had this medal, but it wasn't on my DD-214. Now, when something like that happens, and we've got a clip that we're gonna show about this. No, and when something like that happens, how does your office handle something like that?
Right.
Well, most veterans, in fact, all the veterans we deal with are proud to have served, and they love to have those medals and ribbons. And occasionally, and if you were in the military like me, you know that there's a lot of paperwork snafus, and they fall through the cracks. My case in point, I got discharged in Germany. My good conduct medal didn't catch up with me for 15 years. And these medals are important for claims purposes. For instance, a Purple Heart that is issued, if it's not on your discharge papers, it can help you get into the hospital much quicker, a higher category if it's on the discharge. So what we do as a service officer is there are procedures and DD forms that need to be filled out. No time limit. I repeat, there is no time limit to apply for medals that you should have earned but were never awarded. And we have gone back to World War II in some instances and got these medals awarded. Of course, it depends on the evidence. You know, some veterans say they got a medal and they don't deserve it. But by and large, the ones that we deal with are honest and truthful. Takes a while, but we usually end up getting them that deserved medal.
As Ray mentioned, going back to World War II, it was just a few years ago when our national commander, who was here from Illinois, I called him and asked him if he couldn't come up to the Veterans Home at Manteno, Illinois, because we were going to present a Purple Heart to a World War II veteran who was in Normandy on D-Day, was wounded, and never received his Purple Heart up just until about, I think it's about 3 or 4 years ago. So as Ray said, there's no time limit. We can go back as far as it takes.
That's outstanding. They deserve that, and they need to get it. And thank you for helping him accomplish that and getting that to him.
And the look in their eyes when they get it, it's priceless. You just can't describe how happy and elated they and their family members are to get that medal after the fact. It's really something.
Very proud of that, and they very well should be proud of that because they earned that. They don't give those medals away; those are earned. And we have a roll. If you could go ahead and roll our tape, we're gonna show you one instance that we just talked about.
I served from January 16, 1975 to January 21st, 1979. I'm affiliated with the American Legion now. They were helping me in getting my claims and benefits through the American Legion and through the VA. And I received a lot of help from Arthur Taylor and Mark McClure. Very good people. Wayne and the other guys, they were real good, helpful for me, and they orchestrated me receiving my medal, which was the Navy Marine Corps medal, which is the highest honorable medal I could receive on peacetime. On out, they were moving on out. It was like a big old mountain, like a hill or whatever, and so they were moving out, going off that hill. So I was in the rear, and so I was we were getting ready to move out. And so I was looking at the helicopter, and I watched the Marines, like the last few guys, run onto the back of the helicopter. And so I saw the crewman, and he came out, and he closed up the back of the helicopter, and they took off. So as at the same time, we were taking off in a Jeep, and we were on the road. And I was watching the helicopter as it was, you know, gaining altitude, and it kind of got up and got a little ways from us. And as it got a little ways from us, it dipped like that in the front, and then it did like that in the back. And when it did like that, stuff started coming out of the back. And I'm like, wow, you know. And all of a sudden, he started spiraling down, and I yelled, "He's going down! It's going down!" So the driver, he sped up, and so as we were coming around the hill, I lost sight of it for a second. We were coming around this hill, and as we were coming around the hill, we came around another, and I jumped out. I landed on my left leg, and I came back up, and I started running towards the helicopter. As I was running, another Marine, Tommy Rhodes, what I found out his name, that's another story. But anyway, he came from the other direction. He ran like this, and I came right behind him. And as we were running up, the props on the helicopter was still spinning. So he ducked under, I ducked under, and the pilot was motioning like this here. So we ran to the side. So he ran to the side of the helicopter, and when he ran up there, he just kind of like froze right there, because the way the helicopter had crashed and impacted, it was like a big piece of sheet metal. And so I pulled him back, and so when I pulled him back, I grabbed the metal, I pulled it back, and I pushed him up through the hole that was there. And so I pulled myself up, and I think at the time some other people were coming. So as I climbed in, there was a Marine. He was sitting, he was looking at me, and I was falling across the packs and whatever stuff was on the floor. And so I said, "Okay, man, I'm gonna get you out. I'm gonna get you." I said, "It's okay." So when I grabbed him to move him, he just kind of slumped over. He was dead right there. So then I kind of like froze for a second, and someone was yelling my name. So I turned around. There's two other Marines. They were calling my name from my company. They said, "Walls, Walls, Walls." I turned around, and when I turned around, there was a Marine. They says, help him, you know. And so he was sitting in the seat like this here. So he was strapped in. So when I went to get him out of his seat, but I got him out of his seat belt, so I wanted to stand him up, so I'm going to get him out of his pack. And his helmet was on, so when his helmet fell off, he started bleeding from his nose and his mouth. And so I got him out of his pack, and so I handed him to those two Marines that was there. That's Baptiste and Smitty. So I handed them to them, and so they pulled him through a hole. And so there was other Marines, and I went back to help. And this one guy, he kept yelling and screaming, you know. So I went over to help him, and he was standing up. From what I understand, he was standing up when the helicopter had crashed, and when it crashed, impacted, it broke his legs, and he's like laying there twisting and mangled up, and he's screaming, yelling, you know. But they were aiding him, and so when I turned around, our corpsman, he called me. He says, "Walls, Walls, Walls." He said, "We can't find the crewman." So I'm looking around, because the crewman was the last one I seen go in the helicopter. So when I looked around, I'm moving the packs and everything out of the way, so I just went all the way to the back as far as I could go, and then I couldn't find us, and I went back towards the front where the transmission or the motor, whatever it was, it came down. It was all the way down almost to the floor, so I was pulling stuff out of the way, and I crawled all the way beneath there as far as I could to get them, you know, just to see if I could find them. I couldn't find them, I couldn't feel them or nothing. So in the meantime, we kind of like, they kept saying, "Come on, we got to get off here now," you know. And so I kept thinking, I said, well, I know I saw him on there. So I kept moving stuff out of the way, looking for this crewman, which I never did find him. But I know that's kind of where I, you know, that's kind of where it's a little touchy for me, yeah.
You know, that's one instance, and when I talked to Mr. Walls, and he showed me that medal, and I seen the look that Ray was just talking about, the look in his eyes and the pride, and he should be very, very proud, because the Navy and Marine Corps medal is the highest you can get in peacetime, and he is very proud of that, as he should be. You know, the veterans from all walks and different eras and different ways of being discharged. You know, there's different types of discharges out there when a veteran gets discharged. There's, of course, the honorable discharge. They categorize them in different ways. Now, everything else besides